Hey YouTube! So for those of you who don't know, this is my second YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel, Gothica Eterna, is a pagan and goth centered channel, and this is my everything else channel. Before I made this channel, when I just had the Gothica Eterna channel, I wanted to start delving into more LGBT topics. So, I created a few LGBT tag videos that I posted on the first channel. And for people who may never look at that channel because goth and pagan topics aren't what you're looking for, I want you to be able to have access to that LGBT content here with the rest of it. And there's also a cover that I'll be posting that I did on my other channel, since I do also have covers and songs on this channel. So here is the first part of my LGBT tag reposted from my first channel, Gothica Eterna. Okay, so this is take two. Like some of my more recent videos, this video is completely unscripted. I didn't like the first version, so I guess now it's a little bit more scripted because I still remember my answers and stuff from the first time around. This is a video, and I'm going to try to slow down and not rush it. This is a video that I have thought about making, but put off. And not because I'm embarrassed. I'm very out in day-to-day life. I am out online. I think my main reason for not being sure about whether or not I wanted to make this video was I feel like I have a lot of topics that I want to condense into one YouTube channel. And I have debated and still might make a second channel and have this channel still be primarily pagan and goth topics, and then have more LGBT and other various not goth and pagan related topics in another channel. So I'm not embarrassed about my gender identity and my sexual orientation. I gave very straightforward answers to that question in my question and answers video. Somebody had asked me what my sexual orientation and gender identity were, and I gave an answer. So I don't have an issue with that. Part of why I am making this video, though, is I feel like I erased a part of my life when I gave my answer to that question. I answered that I was Freudian slip on what's about to come. I answered that I was pansexual, or am pansexual and gender fluid, and mentioned that I was with a man, but that did not negate my pansexualness, and that that's not the whole story, and those who are close to me know the whole story. Well, here's the whole story. I am polyamorous and in a relationship with a man and a woman. And I felt like I erased a big part of who I am when I omitted that fact. And I felt like, even though I was claiming that I am pansexual, and I was claiming that with pride, I felt like by not mentioning my girlfriend, I was essentially saying that I'm embarrassed of her, like about her, like that I'm embarrassed to say that I am with a man and a woman, and I'm not. So I am going to make my first LGBT video today, and I'll probably make like a longer coming out video at some point. But right now, I couldn't find a good, an LGBT tag that I really liked. So what I found was the, 30 days of LGBT on Tumblr, and I took screenshots because for some reason my Google app freezes when I'm on Tumblr, and I absolutely hate the Tumblr app, so, I took screenshots. I'm not going to read all of the questions because I don't like all of them, but I'm going to read the ones that I feel are relevant and good questions for me to be answering in this video. And I'm going to answer those for you guys. Yay! Number 1, your sexual orientation or gender identity. I stated in my question and answers video that I am pansexual and gender fluid. But that's like the short answer, and that's like labels I pick when people ask, and labels that aren't super complicated. But if you want to get technical, I'm more panromantic and homosexual with exceptions, and like gray sexual. Like, I'm somewhere on the asexual spectrum, but I am a sexual person. I'm more asexual with men, but I do find some men sexually attractive, and there are like a few men in this world that I would sleep with, and my partner is one of them. Like, my male partner is one of them, so like, it's just complicated. But if you want the simple answer, I am pansexual and gender fluid. With my gender identity, I tend to lean more towards female and agender, although I do slip into the more masculine end of the spectrum. My preferred pronouns, I really don't care. If anybody ever decided to use male pronouns for me, I would love you until the day I die, because most people wouldn't think to use masculine pronouns to for someone who's so feminine expressing, and like, I would legitimately love you. It would make me feel like I did a couple years ago when I had short hair and could be mistaken for a guy. Like, I kind of miss that sometimes. And I'm going to do the gender tag at some point, maybe tonight, I don't know. We'll see how tired I am. But yeah, pansexual and gender fluid would be the simplest answer. Did you have any experiences as a child that might have foreshadowed your sexuality? Not really. I was the little girl who would wear patent leather shoes and a nice dress to church on Sundays, and then trash them by playing soccer or dodgeball or like tag with the boys after Sunday school. That was me. But at the same time, I feel like I buried a lot of who I was when I was a child, because when I was young, I had this mentality that there were strictly boy things and there were strictly girl things. Pretty much pink and purple were for girls, and everything else was for boys. And I never thought that that was fair, but I kind of accepted it. So for a long time, I pretended to be stereotypically a girly girl. I loved pink, and I actually hate pink. I have one pink thing that I like, and it's a blanket that my aunt made for me when I was young, and that's about it. You will rarely catch me wearing pink. Like, I have to have a good reason to have anything pink. Like, I would wear dresses and skirts all the time, even if it was raining, like, and cold, and I don't remember, but I probably got sick a lot because of it. But yeah, I don't really think I allowed myself to give many indications that might have foreshadowed my sexual orientation. How old were you when you knew what was that like for you? I knew in elementary school that I wasn't physically attracted to the boys. I had crushes on a couple of boys, but sometimes I feel like I more wanted to be them than be with them. Like, I would admire the way a guy carried himself, or like, I would be drawn to their personality, but it wasn't until much later in life that I found a male that I was genuinely physically and sexually attracted to. And I wasn't expecting sexual attraction in elementary school, but I didn't even find the guys physically attractive. I didn't like look at a guy and say, oh, he's cute. The first person I was ever physically attracted to was in 6th grade, and it was a female. And I denied it within, like, I didn't accept it. I didn't even admit it to myself. I didn't admit it to myself until years later. And then in 8th grade, I had a crush on my best friend who I never thought I would have a chance with, because I thought for sure she'd be straight, and she ended up not being straight and is now with someone else. But I'm okay with it, because I have my own partners. She's got her girlfriend, and everything's good. Frog in my throat. Okay. The first person you came out to in that story. Okay. If you want to be technical, the first person I came out to was one of my 2 female best friends when I was in high school. But I didn't really come out. She and I were both raised in the church, and what I told her was not, I'm bisexual, or I'm pansexual, or I'm gay. I told her, I struggle with same-sex attraction. So I phrased it as a bad thing, and I did not accept it as part of who I was. So I wouldn't really say that's my coming out. My coming out is probably the first person I came out to. I considered him my little brother, and he was bisexual. Still is. But I came out to him, and I just hit a point where I was tired of denying such a big part of who I am. And I finally, I just needed to say it out loud to somebody. I finally said it to myself in the mirror, and I was like, I need to say it to an actual person. So what I did was I wrote this long letter. I told him I needed to talk to him, and we made plans to talk the next day. And I wrote a letter. And I did everything I could to stall and to push further in the future when I would have to say it. I started off talking about other things in my life that were stressing me out and bothering me, and like contributing to my declining mental health and my unhappiness. And then finally I said something along the lines of, okay, I don't think I'm done stalling yet, but I think I need to stop stalling now and just say it. And then I took a deep breath, and I couldn't say it. It took me, like, there was a good minute of silence before I finally said, like, I was finally, like, thought, just open your mouth and say the words. And I finally said, I think I'm bisexual. And then I kind of kept going into, like, why, and talking about my attractions towards women. And then finally I was done, and he just smiled at me and gave me one of the best hugs I have ever had in my life. Like, it's still in the top 5 best hugs I've ever gotten. And he told me that he wasn't surprised. And then I started going to the Gay Straight Alliance at my school with him. But I think for the longest time people probably thought I was just an ally. I don't think people really caught on until my senior year. I came out to him in my junior year, so it wasn't too long after that pretty much everybody knew. But yeah. And then he was also the first person I came out to about my gender identity as well. And then I think the second was his mother, and the third was a trans friend of mine who helped me get my hands on the binder that I still have to this day. So the next the next question is really, it's going to be really difficult for me to give an answer to, and I really want to cover it in a separate video with a trigger warning. So and I wanted to keep this video to less than 15 minutes, so I'm going to move this into a part 2. Yay! So I hope you guys enjoyed part 1. Sorry if I'm not being super interesting right now. I'm just kind of going with the answers that I have in my head to these questions. So I will see you guys in part 2 if you guys don't mind the trigger warning. And if you do, I will hopefully have a part 3 with more questions, so you can skip the trigger warning one if you have to. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.